this is Isabel Litzler, the place to be to develop your skills and grow your potential. So this video is for overbooked executives. This is a quick guide to LinkedIn. I divided it into 3 sections. So firstly, I will go into the base profile, base. So if you're really in a rush, you don't have a lot of time, this will give you what you need to know in a snapshot. Secondly, I will go into what to do to become even a better rated profile, top 20 profile. And finally, a little bit of tips on strategy and mastery of LinkedIn. So feel free to join my channel if you haven't done so yet, and also feel free to post below if you find some parts of this training more interesting and you want to know more of, so that I can make additional videos that go maybe more into the specifics. But remember that, and I will also cover that during this presentation, is remember that everything is very personal. So when you have a presentation, it's meant to be more general, but each individual is different. So let's get started on LinkedIn. So what do you need to know? Well, firstly, this is my profile that I pulled out for you because it's the easiest way to show the way to work on LinkedIn. So the first thing that you work on is your photo. So make sure that you have an updated photo, no less than 5 years. Make sure that it's done professionally. So you should always have a photo where it's like a little bit like a bust photo. You don't want to show more. And make sure that it's looking at the person who would be on your page. So that creates also engagement. And make sure that you dress, again, it should be reflecting the industry that you're in. Obviously, I would say, dress up. Now moving on to the banner, because this is probably a bit more complicated. The banner is something most people are not using on LinkedIn, or not everybody yet. So most people have the general banner on LinkedIn. You see that you have the option to edit it here. So the best tool to use to work on your LinkedIn banner is to go on a site called canva.com. And here you see that you have tons of options there to choose from. And it can really reflect your industry. So this is a huge topic because, again, most people don't really know which one would suit. So you would have to really go down and check each and individual template and see which one suits both your personality, your industry. So for example, this one, data analyst, it looks a little bit, maybe more finance-y, if I can call it that. So this one is a little bit more design oriented. This is more something you would see for someone who works in digital, something like that. So you just have to see which one suits, but you have so many options and everything is already put together for you. You just need to replace the information, which is really easy. But now be careful that when you're going on LinkedIn, something that would work well for somebody, maybe your business. So a lot of them would have a website. If you're looking more for a new job, maybe you edit that a little bit, where usually what I have people do is put their 3 keywords. So you see that my 3 keywords are careers, networking, and entrepreneurship. So if I was on the job market to look for a job, instead of having my website, maybe I would put those 3 keywords there, so that people know this is what I'm about. And if they need someone that has the expertise in those different things, they would think about me. And it also helps your visibility. So this is an example. Again, you don't necessarily need to have a tagline, but you could have, even though you could, if you have one, but you could replace that also maybe with, some other details like, the industries that you work with or something like that. And of course, the logo and the Google notation would be more for a company. But at least it gives you an idea. You have a lot of things there to choose from. Some of them you have to pay for to get the template, but you have so many available without paying for a template that it's really easy. So again, the site is canva.com. I strongly encourage you to take a look at it. I don't have any partnership with Canva, but I thought it's a great site when you're on digital to put your post together. Number 3 is your header. That's usually a big one as well with clients, is the header. What do I put there? Should I put my current job title? Should I put, something else? It really depends on your situation. Again, it sounds like a very general answer, but it's true. I mean, let's say you work for a big company and now you want to go into something completely different and maybe even something completely unrelated, and you're changing careers, your job title is not going to help. Now, if you're just trying to get maybe the same type of job, but a little bit more money and a little bit more tasks, interesting tasks, and a little bit higher up, maybe that works well to have your current job title with a very fresh LinkedIn profile. And maybe also here you can put some keywords. So people also ask what kind of keywords. So you see I have, again, careers, networking, entrepreneurship. So you could have something like finance, innovation, and management, or something like that. So you have to pick those 3 words. And how do you find them? Well, that's usually when working with a professional, because you have this insights about you. If you're all able to do it yourself by looking at your history and what you've done, and where maybe your employees were happy with your work, what are the things that you master very well. This is a little bit self-development and self-awareness and personal development and all of that. So this is where you find your 3 keywords. It took me actually a while to come up with these 3. It's really based on the experiences that you have and where you see you have value. It's probably the hardest part of building your LinkedIn profile. It's finding those keywords that really belong to you. Because if you put something that you see everywhere, you're going to be one amongst the others, and probably you're not going to be seen very well on digital. So having taken the time to find keywords that are really yours and nobody else, and maybe not something that's seen everywhere, like I'm a manager or I'm a director, it's a little bit seen everywhere. So that's really the key for keyword optimization. It's not about, people think keyword optimization is throwing as many keywords as you can. It's like the all you can eat of LinkedIn. But it's not it. It's not about throwing as many keywords, and it's the same as your resume. If you want to be, positioned well on digital, it's more about finding the right keywords, really, that belong to you, and that you took a little bit of time to research, maybe some synonyms. So if you're a manager or a director, try to go into finding some synonyms on Google. What's the synonym of a manager? Maybe leader, maybe expert in something. You just have to find something that's a little bit original. So that's really what you need to remember about keyword optimization is more knowing yourself and finding your niche. It's more about finding niche and finding words that belong to that niche. And finally, customizing your URL. So you would go on the right hand side here, so you can just click on it and immediately you find it's very easy. You just find on the right, you can just put your name and first and last name. So what you see on LinkedIn, it's very easy to find the information. I mean, you have all the links. I don't necessarily encourage you to do a profile in another language, because I think it might be confusing if you have different profiles out there. And I don't necessarily see the need. If you're an expat or international person, probably your profile is in English, unless you work really in one area and you're focused on that market. So that's really it for the first section, which is about building the base profile. Now, step 2 is about building a top profile. So if you want your profile to rank well and be really excellent, then you need to start putting a little bit more information there. So you see I have a featured section. So you can just add section anytime. You see, you just click here. So if you're still on a very basic profile right now, you can just add a featured where you would post. You see you have a plus sign where you would post all kinds of different materials, like your videos that you've done. In my experience with clients, they don't have that, because they haven't really used digital so much. And we have to remember, this is quite new, where you do videos and you do posts and all that for the main market. It's always been, I think it's been there for a while for entrepreneurs or businesses, but for the individual, it's still very new where you post so much on yourself. So most people don't have videos posted there. They don't have a lot. But even if it's something that your company did, so maybe you participated in an event in a company, you did something for when you were working there and you want to share that article you put together or something you've done in a team type of environment. If you have anything on you online, just put it there. It helps, to give you a little bit more credibility in your field. So if I see that John or Susan, so this is you, for example, and you worked maybe at some point in a big company and you put together a huge event with the help maybe of a firm or something like that, but it was still something you achieved, so you can post it there. Maybe the newspaper article that was online talking about this event or something you participated in. But this is more like a little bit of marketing there, so it can be a bit tricky for people to visualize and understand what could be a good thing to put there. Following that, what you want to do is update your job history. So the job history is very easy in my view. It's more about listing your experiences, but make sure you don't go back more than 10 years for those of you who are more senior, and make sure you put only the things that are essential to know for someone who's looking at your profile. So don't go into detailing each and every single task. This is not the most interesting, but detail more the achievements or something that you put together and that maybe was a huge success in your company. And make sure basically to give a snapshot of what people need to know. Now mine is probably not developed enough because I don't really look for a job, so I don't need to detail necessarily what I've done in human resources. But if I was to go back to human resources as a manager, for example, I would need to explain a bit more what I did in each position. So what did I do exactly in the day-to-day HR activities? So you have to think a little bit like someone looking at your profile. What would they need to know to make sure you're a good candidate for their position? So you can look at the job description. If they say they're looking for, if I continue with the example of human resources, if they say they're looking for someone who has done compensation, who's built a compensation plan, who's done a lot of hiring, then that's probably why I would say in my profile that I've done compensation and I've done hiring. So you just use the job descriptions that you see to help you build your LinkedIn into something that is going to be attractive to the market. Now, chances are in any industry, there's going to be some top skills that are always the same. Each company is different, but if you're looking for a job in human resources, chances are in the top 3 you're going to find those things. Like you've done some hiring, you've done some compensation, you've done some contracts, you've done maybe in talent management, you put together a talent plan, etc. So it's always going to be similar, and then you can use that to do your profile or to plug in your profile those words there, which are going to be successful in the job market. Now, next thing is the summary. So the summary is going to be, I just passed it right here. So mine is more of the entrepreneur summary. Now for you, what you need to have is probably your bio. So I have it at the end here, a short bio, and you see how I wrote mine. Mine is actually a change. I went from HR to online entrepreneur and coach. So it's going to be a little bit different for you. It's going to be maybe you were a finance manager for 10 years and you have experience in such and such industry, and now you partner with big companies to help them develop their finance plans, etc. So you're going to have something that looks a bit different. Now what you can add is something a little bit more personal as well. So you can say you like, I don't know, going on trips in exotic areas, or you need like animals or something a little bit more personal. Be aware that it can really make a link between you and recruiters that are looking for that person who likes the same things as them. And you'd be surprised, a lot of people get recruited because they have something similar with the person doing the recruitment. So it's not about skills necessarily. Sometimes it can be about personal taste or hobbies, or you'd be very surprised. People like-minded people. So make sure you put something a bit more personal about you if you can. but don't go overboard either. I mean, you see it's only one small line on my profile. So that's for the summary. Keep it short. You don't necessarily need to put everything about all the skills possible, because remember that you should have your top skills here. Maybe you can add a few more in the summary as well, because again, I recommend the 3 top skills here, or 3 top areas of talent, so to say. But if you have so much more, and I can understand, I talk to a client I have clients sometimes that contact me from the tech field or the IT field, and for those I understand that they have so many different software they use and tools and all that. But maybe you can have a section here that says tools used, or software, or you put your tech things a little bit there in a paragraph, so that it's in one space. But I don't necessarily think it makes sense to have that in the header, because it's going to be overwhelming. Or maybe you pick the top 2 in your industry, but you don't want to overwhelm people in your header. Now the next thing is about skills, education and skills endorsement. So education you have right here. I still see people who put the most, the oldest on top. Why would you do that? You want to have the most recent education and the most recent licenses. So for example, if you've done your BA like myself in the 90s, I definitely wouldn't put that first. So, and everyone is doing continuing education now. I'm doing continuing education. It's not showing yet. I'm doing some training right now, which I will probably add when I'm done here. So most people, the most updated is the certification, because let's face it, education, you do it once. Maybe a few people do go for more than master's degree, but once you have your master's, you keep continuing education. I mean, unless you want to do a second or a third master's, which by the way, I don't encourage people to do, because a master's is a level of education. So whether you have it in arts, or if you have it in, I have an MA in HR management, but let's say you want to do a Master of Science in accounting, or master. Once you have a master, you have a master. I think it'd be a pity to spend another couple of thousands of euros or Swiss francs or what have you, or dollars, to do another of something you already have. Now what you can do if you want to change careers is to say, I have a master's in arts and HR management, maybe now I want to go into finance, I'm going to do some continuing education here where I take some courses. Because again, the base, what you have to remember in an education is the base is the same in a way. If you do your master's or even your BA, most of the courses are the same. Now you have a few courses that are going to be very specific, and that's why they have degrees in different things. But if you already have a master's, then I don't encourage you to go and spend money to get a second master. What I would encourage you to do is to take some courses that are very focused and sharp into the industry that you want, and add that in the licenses and certification. So if today I wanted to do finance, for example, I wouldn't go and get a master's in finance. I would go and maybe take some very, very niche specific courses that my organizations that I target would value highly. So that would be my recommendation in terms of licenses and education. Now, finally, the skills endorsement on the profile. So you see here, I have a few, so you just click on the plus sign and you see that you have asked for a recommendation, and it's all automated from there, where you just send the link and the person gets it and they reply to you. Now, what I do want to mention is make sure that when you ask for a recommendation, that you also give recommendation. So if you've asked, let's say 3 recommendations, make sure you give 3 recommendations, just to make sure there's a balance there, and your network also is aware that you give and take, and you just don't take. So that's just one piece of advice, where everything that you do online, make sure you're in the mindset of giving and getting, not just getting. So the skills endorsement is a very easy one. So here you should have then quite a sharp profile when you do all these things I just mentioned now. The last part is about strategy and mastery of LinkedIn. So what do you need to know to help with your profile. So that's where you go a little bit more into, do I need the premium or not? Do I need the groups or not? So this is a little bit based on how much are you going to be enthusiastic about the tool. So if you've gone up until now and you're going to implement all the things I just said, but you're happy with that and you don't see yourself doing more, then I would say probably the mastery part is going to be a bit tricky. Now, for people who are wanting to get more out of LinkedIn, then I think that's where you can get a bit more on going into premium. This one is more about, I want to use LinkedIn Learning. I want to compare myself to other applicants, get a bit of these tools there, get in touch with a few people, because you have to see it's only 5, so you're not getting in touch with a lot of people. Now, I think if you want to do networking for sure and have more impact, this one probably makes sense, where you see you have 15 emails per month. You can browse and see more profiles, because if you don't have premium, you're limited to the amount of profiles you can find. And then you have the tracking, which you had with the other one as well. So I think the main thing is the number of emails that you use per month. This is why it's a little bit more expensive. And you have unlimited people browsing. So if you're looking to do more networking on LinkedIn, I would say this one seems to be a bit more adapted. And now if you want to, your core business and you really want to use it to market, and this would be again major marketing, because you have 50 emails per month, custom lead account list, advanced lead search. So this is almost like a dictionary of companies where you can look. So this is really intense marketing. So this would be business marketing, and they also offer the LinkedIn Learning and so forth. But you see, this is also by 4 teams, so it's $99 per month. So I think again, if you look at all the plans, probably the first or the second one, those are a bit not adapted. I would say if you're not a full business, unless you're watching this video and you are working inside a business and looking to get a good marketing tool for your business, yeah, maybe you would enjoy this one. I've done training on it, but I'm not on it personally, but it's amazing what you can do with Sales Navigator. I've seen the amount of details you can get on who's doing what within a company and to reach out. I mean, feel free, by the way, to post below. Is that something you want to hear more about? Because you do get 1 month free on Sales Navigator where you can try the tool. And if you want to know more about it and you want to see a short video on it, I'd be happy to do one. If that's something you're interested in. So let me know. I know most people in my website, in my channel, they're looking for more the recruitment part, but not necessarily the going more into the sales part. But I think Navigator can also be used if you wanted to look for a job. But I'm just trying to see a little bit the level of interest, so let me know by posting below. So that's it for LinkedIn Premium. Now, the other thing that you might want to check is the groups. So when you go on search here, basically you would just say, for example, Facebook ad expert. And here you would have groups. So you see how you have all the groups where you could find Facebook ads expert. So here basically you put what your thing is, so to say. So remember, mine was networking is one of them, and career. So I just put networking, and I find all the groups that could be linked to my field, so to say. Or if you're in finance, you just type finance. You can even put Switzerland if you wanted, and you see you have all the groups there that you can join. So this is a great little way to, and again, I personally don't have a premium yet, so I'm probably not getting all the possibilities. You see, I have 108 results, but if you have LinkedIn Premium, I'm sure you get even more. So you have a lot of groups that you can join already without premium. I mean, you have access to a lot of groups. So then it's quite easy. You just put, invite. So here I'm a member, so it doesn't work. But if you're not a member, you can just put, you know, that you want to join. It's a little bit like Facebook, and the owner of the group would let you in. So it's a great way to basically get visibility in groups. So that's for why should you be in groups? I think because you can see a lot of what's going on in your field. You can also check, remember, when you're in a group, you can check the members. So you see here I have all the different members. So if I do show all, I can see everyone that's in my field, including their company that they work for. So that's really easy. Now, the other thing that you can do to start getting a little bit more information or traction to your profile, because now I'm giving you some strategies, is to actually go into start a post and start sharing information such as a video about you. You want to create maybe an event. Maybe you want to create a blog article, which would be right here on this button, write an article, and you can publish it, and that's going to give you more visibility on your profile. So really now into the strategies, it's about posting content, video content, blog content, creating interactions, citing people in your post also creates interaction. So this is where you get a little bit into the higher functions of LinkedIn. Also, the great news is to start looking at your notification to see, going back into who actually looked at your profile, and trying to engage with this person is a great idea. Adding people to your network is also a great idea, because then you have more people to look at their information. So then I think the easy thing to do is, and I will leave this video, finish this video on that end, is to go through the thread. So once you have done all the steps I've explained today, then, and you have enough people in your network, then all you have to do is basically go through the thread, and then each time you see something from someone that makes sense, or you want to encourage your network, then you just post a like this, and people will notice, and probably they do the same thing with you. So just make sure you're active on it, and you share the information. And sometimes people write to me saying thank you for sharing. So it's a great way to get visibility. So if you have, for example, recruiters that you're following, your favorite recruiters or your favorite companies, and you share their posts, they will see it. A company can see. So here I have Brights Learning, so maybe that's not a good example. I'm trying to find a company that I follow. Bilan. So that's the big business magazine in Switzerland, in the French part of Switzerland. So let's say I like the article. It's about half-time, or partial work time. So I'm like, great, they're talking about jobs of the future. Boom, I'm sharing that. I can share with my thoughts, say, wonderful article, etc. And then I post it. And then Bilan will see that I share the article, and they will see it. I will already have a little bit of a visibility with them. So it makes sense to do that. So I don't want to share it, because I usually share things that are in English to be consistent. But this is also about work trends or what have you. So you just have to see, what makes sense. Here's someone in my network who's also sharing some information. This is another magazine that I'm following in the French part of Switzerland, so I could also share this article. So again, the more magazines that you follow, the more companies you follow, you will see it in that thread of information. So how do you find these and how do you follow them? You just type PM magazine there, companies. So you see you have it here, you have it here. So you have a bunch of different ones, probably because I'm already a member, that's why it's not showing. But if I do Le Temps, which is another one, here, Le Temps, so you see that's the main newspaper in the French part of Switzerland. So you just follow it, or this is so you can find, basically, if you know the name of the newspaper, the magazine, or the company, So let's say the company will do Credit Suisse, which is a bank. I'm trying to think of what people would like. So Credit Suisse, and you just follow Credit Suisse. And then if I follow Credit Suisse, what's going to happen is that I will see all the notifications in my thread here. And then I can just share them. And that's going to give you a lot of visibility to share the what companies post. So I'll just share that one and see repost. So repost just means that it was reposted without any interaction from me. So I just shared the article. I have so many topics that I want to cover, but this was a quick one on LinkedIn for busy executives. Thank you.